for the Citi Field show, I was able to actually get a GA ticket. I bought it, I'm pretty sure, like the night before. I bought it like the night before the show. I just bought it online, so I just printed out my ticket. And so for that one, I was not able to go like for the whole week, obviously, because I have a job, so that wasn't happening. But I was able to go a bit early, so I actually got to Citi Field at probably between like 3 and 4 a.m. So then I waited in the parking lot with everyone else, waited in the parking lot until probably, I want to say, I forget exactly when like the line was starting, maybe around like 7 or 8 maybe. I think it was maybe 8 o'clock that they wanted people to start getting in line for GA. However, that was a bit of a fiasco because as soon as someone heard that you were lining up, you were supposed to stay in like a line. You were kind of like set up in like the zigzag pattern. You were kind of supposed to stay in that line, but of course everything's out the window. So people started running and rushing and to get up front in order to get your wristband for the general admission. And obviously that did not go over well. So a whole bunch of people were like crammed into this little tiny space, like within like a barricade, like a little fenced in area that they had set up. And then because of that, they were making people like get out of that area to go into a different line because there was too many people in there. There was something about like the numbers on your hand, but half of us didn't have numbers, so it was a little bit confusing. So we probably started lining up, I forget, it was probably about like 8 a.m. or something. And then so by the time I actually was in that mess, I actually had to get out of line once because I, for whatever reason, made to go to the back of one line, so took a while. So I didn't get my wristband until about like 10:45, almost 11 a.m. So I was outside for maybe about, I got there about like 4 a.m. until about like 8 a.m. So about like 4 hours of just sitting outside in the cold. It wasn't really that cold, but that early in the morning it was pretty chilly. So, and then I had to wait and stand in this huge mob of people waiting to get their GA wristbands for another practically 3 hours to get in line for that. So once I finally got my wristband, then I went and I walked around for a little bit and got some food, and then we had to come back and line up again. This time there was like the fence outside the venue that they had kind of like markers along the fence for like what number your wristband was, so they kind of like bracketed it off. So you had to find where your number fit in there. I mean, it didn't have to be exact because, you know, by the time you got up there it was a mess anyway, but they wanted you like somewhat in order. So you had to get back in line an hour before doors. So I think we had to get back in line at like 3, maybe 2 or 3, and then we had to wait at least another hour. So I think it had to be like 3 o'clock we had to get back in line, because then we had to wait at least another hour until they opened up doors. But then it took like an hour from where I was to even get to the front of the line to get like my bag checked before I could even go inside. So then that was another at least minimum 2 hours waiting there doing that. And then once you get inside, it's another at least hour before BTS actually perform. So at that point, I finally made it inside in GA, in the pit area. Of course, I'm squished around a whole bunch of other girls, and so it's not terrible at that point, because nothing's really going on, so everyone's literally just standing there. And of course the music videos are playing, and so everyone's singing along and stuff, so that wasn't too bad. Until the guys finally came out on stage, then of course everyone rushes and pushes forward. So it wasn't too bad, because I expected that, because I've been to plenty of shows before, so I knew that was going to happen. So everyone definitely like rushed forward, and then you kind of like have to bounce back a little bit. So that happened, and so it was fine for a while. Like, I could tolerate it because I've been to other shows before, so I knew what was going on. But then kind of at one point, I don't know, she must have been a mom or something, but she was getting upset. She was in GA, so she was not happy at the time. And at that point, I mean, it was probably maybe at least halfway through the show by then, and I don't know, there was just like so many people, and I was getting a little overheated, so I decided to go to the outskirts of the pit area. So it took a little bit to make my way out through all the people. Some people did not want to let you go through, so that was a little bit of finagling. So I finally made it outside, and I was able to breathe a little bit. So then I actually did bring my camera to Citi Field, so I will include my pictures and some of my videos that I took from that. So I'm pretty happy with the pictures that I got. Some of them, obviously, I'm not completely satisfied with, but from what I could do, from what I could see at my height, I'm only 5 foot, so it can be a little hard for me sometimes to see what's going on. But so once I moved out to the outskirts of it, I could see some a little bit better, especially when they came out onto the end of the stage, the end of the catwalk. So I was able to see that a little bit better and get a few pictures, but obviously it's hard when there's hands and army bombs waving and whatever. But for the most part, that was fine. But I don't want to. I feel like I'm making it sound really bad. But my point is that even though like I waited like all that time, it really was worth it. Like, honestly, like if I had to do it over again, I would. Like, if I could see BTS again, even if it's GA or if it's just in the seats, I totally would. Like, no matter what. If I could get a ticket to see BTS, I would totally do it. I don't know how to describe it. They're just awesome on stage. Like, they have just amazing stage presence. They just have, like, the entire stage is just set up amazingly. They know what they're doing. Like, everything, like all of the displays, all of the lights, of course all the army bombs are lit up. It's just a great time. Yeah, I don't, it's really hard to explain it until you've actually experienced it yourself. I mean, even it doesn't have to be BTS, but just your favorite group, just to know that feeling, it's just the best feeling. So obviously, after the show, I was quite exhausted by that point, after waiting all day long and then having to experience the whole show and everything. So finally made it back to my car and drove back home, so I was quite exhausted after that. But I'm pretty sure I went to work the next day. I had work like later in the day, so I didn't have to go like first thing, but I still had work later that day, the next day, so I was a bit tired after that. But it was definitely worth it, in my opinion. If BTS is one of the groups that you would want to see, which I feel like most people would, that it's definitely worth it. I know it can seem, I mean, it is a lot of money, but it's definitely worth it in the end, at least in my opinion it was. Obviously it differs on each person, but I really had a great time and I really can't wait to see them again. So I hope that some of this video helped explain a little bit of my experience. And for that, I didn't get any merch for the Citi concert either, because I was waiting in line for GA, so I didn't have time to wait in line for the merch. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I had a great time at the concerts, and I really, really can't wait to see them again. And I hope that you guys enjoy the videos and pictures that I have included. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I actually do have at least 2 other concerts that I've gone to, K-pop concerts that I've gone to recently, that I will make videos and commentary for those as well. If you guys have any other questions about like any shows I've ever been to, I've been to a lot of shows, so if anyone has any questions about going to shows, I go to pretty much most of them by myself. So if anyone needs any solo traveler concert recommendations or tips, please let me know. I am more than happy to help. And so yeah, I went to 2 concerts recently, so I really hope that I will be able to get through some of that stuff soon. So hopefully within, I'm really hoping within the next month, I'll be able to post those, or early, like the next month. So please look forward to those, and I will try my best to keep posting constantly. I know that this one is a little bit late. So thank you guys again, and if you have any questions about any shows, please let me know, and I will be happy to answer them for you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks, bye!